Next in radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. It's Kerry, Lutz, and the date is January 26th, 2016. And we haven't had him on recently, but you're going to be glad that we did. I'm talking about Sandy Botkin, who's a CPA and attorney and is an expert in tax matters. And it's that time of year again. So we are talking about tax scams. And Sandy, welcome back. It's great to have you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be on.
Hey, so tax scams, it's that time of year again, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, these scammers are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are very, very clever. There's a couple things that everybody needs to know about because they are huge. They're spreading all over the country. My dad got one of these, and I even got one of these. I got called 3 times, to be precise. Really? And I listed them in my books, by the way. Lower Your Taxes Big Time. I got a whole chapter on it. It's called Scams, Slams, and Shams. And I have another book called Achieve Financial Freedom Big Time, and both chapters have this. So let me mention what's going on here. There's 2 tax scams, and there's 2 regular scams that are very big right now. In fact, the IRS and the government warn people about these. The first one is a IRS identity, basically IRS impersonation. And what happens is you get a call, and the call threatens you with arrest because you owe money, or it might offer a refund, but usually they threaten you with arrest. Now, there's one nice trick to determine this is obviously a scam, and that is they say they're from the Internal Revenue Services. There's no such thing as the Internal Revenue Services. It's not plural, it's singular. So it's the Internal Revenue Service. So that's the first trick that you know that something's wrong here, first clue. Then they threaten you with arrest, and they say if you want to avoid this, you need to call us. And once you call them, they ask for certified funds, or they say you owe so much money, or they want your bank routing number so you can route them a certain amount of money. First of all, I want to emphasize something here: IRS will never ever call you and threaten you. They will never ever ask for certified funds or wire transfers. Never. If you get that on the phone by someone, it is illegal. It is a scam. So let me make that very clear. Now, sometimes they even, that's the first kind of scam. That's called IRS impersonation. It's huge. It's just absolutely going all over the country. Really? And again, if IRS does contact you, it's usually by snail mail, which means paper mail, not by phone. They will not call you up and threaten you. Okay? So if you don't get a bunch of notices from the IRS, then something's wrong.
Yeah, they're always sending it by mail. That's their preferred method of communication. I don't think they send any emails unless you're involved in something with them already and you exchange email addresses with your agent there. But otherwise, they're never going to email you.
You won't even get an email.
Yeah.
Now, the second type of, and by the way, you won't get a text either. Some people are getting text messages on this. They will not send a text, so you can ignore those. That's very important. So a lot of people getting scammed with this. Now, the second type of scam is called the IRS, and it's a general scam. It's called the phishing scam. It's spelled a little differently than phishing. It's Phishing. Now, what's a phishing scam? A phishing scam is you'll get an email, which I said won't be sent out by the IRS, but you'll get it. Or you'll get a text message, and basically it'll say you owe money, or that you have a refund. They'll appeal to your greed. And you need to log into to this website. Now, you go into the website, and believe me when I tell you, the website looks very authentic. They did a good job of making it look like an IRS website or whatever website they want it to look like. Very good. Now, the problem is that in order to get that refund or to make sure you make the payment to the right account, they want to make sure you are you. And that's where they get you. They want you to put in personal information.
Right.
So first of all, it'll never happen. You'll never get a letter from the IRS or an email or a text asking you for that. Number 2, IRS or any other government agency will never ask you to submit personal information. And number 3, you never, never, never give out personal information to someone you don't know or to a website that you yourself haven't done some research and contacted originally. Right. Never.
Absolutely.
If you really need to, do your own independent research to find out what the true website is for the IRS. But you don't respond to an email and then go on that particular site. Yeah. It's probably a bogus site.
I heard the giveaway was that where it has the picture of the president, there's a picture of Donald Trump there.
That's funny. It's possible. As I said, these scammers are funny, but they don't always know everything that they need to know. And that's called phishing scam.
Yeah.
Now, the third type of scam, which is very big, by the way, is called a smishing. Now, smishing is S-M-I-S-H-I-N-G. Now, what's this? Mm-hmm. These scammers are getting very smart. What they're starting to do is they're starting to use social media to scam you. So what they do is they actually read up your Facebook postings. They actually check out your Twitter postings. They check out social media. So let me give you an example. This has actually happened. Somebody went on a cruise ship, all right? They posted on social media that they went on this cruise with the cruise line. Sure enough, a scammer called them up saying, okay, we're representing the cruise line that you were on. You were on the following ship this date, correct? And of course, they got that from social media. Sounds good, sounds legit. They say, however, you owe us money. You didn't pay off your full bill, which sounds legit. And the minute you give them your credit card, now they have identity theft. Right. Or they'll ask for a bank account routing number. Now they have identity theft. This applies to any posting, any social media posting. That's why it is so important that you do not give personal information on social media or give them, or if you do get calls regarding it, you ought to call the airline or the hotel or whatever it is it's about to see if it's a legitimate call. Because chances are it's a scammer trying to get money out of you.
Right.
So that's the third major scam. And the final major scam really is huge. It's actually starting to, almost everybody I know has gotten this. And I call this the computer repair scam. This is where you get a call, and sometimes it's from the company you think, oh, there's something wrong here, like Windows Services. Sometimes they actually emulate a real company. They'll say, we're calling from Microsoft Services, or we're calling from one of the repair guys like Avantech who makes Iola and things like this, or we're calling from Norton Antivirus. Sounds very, very plausible. These are real companies. And we'll say, okay, we're getting an error message on your computer. And therefore, if you are a subscriber, maybe you were a subscriber currently or in the past, and they figure if you subscribe to Microsoft, you probably have Windows. Chances are you probably have an antivirus. Yeah. If you are a subscriber, we will fix it for free. That's why we got this error message and why we're calling you. And of course, they now go on your computer and they try to get all your passcodes and access to your bank accounts. And if they don't see that, then they screw it up and they try to charge you hundreds of dollars for them to fix it. You do not, I repeat, not let anyone have remote access to your computer unless you call them and you know who you're dealing with. That is the case. Do not let someone you don't know have access to your computer if you haven't contacted them first. And most of these calls that are coming in saying they got error messages, there's problems with their computer, are completely bogus.
Oh, yeah. That we know. Can't trust any of them. Who's going to be monitoring your computer for a virus anyway? Nobody is going to call you and say, hey, your computer, we've been monitoring your computer and it has a virus. You know that has to be a scam.
Well, you'd be surprised how widespread this is and how many people are being taken in by it. My dad almost was called by this, and he almost let them have access to his computer. Finally, he came to his senses. I mean, it sounds plausible. Many times they use realistic companies.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have foreigners doing this, so that gives you a clue. Sometimes they have people that sound very American and sound very realistic. You've got to be very careful. You really have to keep your wits about yourself. You know, these scammers have no morality. Their goal is to part you from all of your money. If they can wipe out your bank account, believe me, they will.
Oh, yeah, that's what they live for, right?
Well, you know, it's funny. I met a guy who actually had that scam mentality, and he was running a company and it was doing very well. And it was actually doing well despite him. And he actually didn't feel good about himself. He didn't. If he wasn't scamming people, he didn't feel good about it. I know that sounds funny. These people have a different mentality than the average person. They're really socially deviant, and they are, and it's just like serial killers. These are people that are serial thieves, essentially, with no morality at all. No.
Yeah, they're pathological.
None whatsoever.
And they have no compassion.
They're pathological.
No empathy. Very few of them have any compassion or empathy for the people they're
hurting. They have no scruples whatsoever. Yeah. None. If they're doing this, I can assure you, they will do whatever they can, and they're working very hard at it, and they're very good at it. So again, the way you get around this is use common sense and be careful. That's really the bottom line here. You don't give out personal information to people you don't know. You don't go on a website and give out personal information that you haven't specifically contacted first. And you don't know what's going on with emails. You don't give out bank account numbers. You don't give out Social Security numbers to people you don't know. And certainly organizations that have that information aren't going to ask for it. No. So you want to be really careful about this stuff.
Absolutely. Got to be careful, because you're the only defense that you have. No one else is out there looking to stop potential identity theft from happening to you. So if you miss it, correct. You're dead. Right?
Well, that's correct. And many of these people don't necessarily live in the United States. Many of them live foreign countries. So you figure even if you go to the police, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, they'll call Interpol. You know what good that'll do you. Yeah, Interpol, get this guy. It never works that way.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's a little scary out there. So I think the rule has to be, Sandy, until you have proof to the contrary, you're speaking with a scammer, right?
That is correct. And now, and I want to emphasize something here, IRS, as a result of budget cuts, IRS is basically hiring external collection agencies to collect money, which I think is a monumental mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that has been tried twice before, and it hasn't worked. You know, it's the old government motto, if it doesn't work, let's try it. So they've tried this before. It isn't going to work. And now they're going to be calling people, and people are going to wonder, is this really the IRS representing the IRS, or is this a scammer? That's exactly what's going to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you get a call from these organizations, unless you know you owe that money, chances are that you're probably not going to do anything. And usually the check is not made out to them; it's made out to IRS. So in that regard, it's a little bit more safe. But you get a call from these agencies, you want to make sure that they are indeed representing the IRS and the amount you owe is legitimate. Now, usually you won't get a call from a collection agency unless you've gotten numerous notices from the IRS regarding money that you owe. So usually there's a correlation between what they're asking for and what you owe, and you can pretty well tell that this is probably legitimate, especially if they want to check to the IRS. But you're never sure. If you don't know these people, you're right. You're never sure.
Yeah, you can't be sure. And that's what's so scary about it. Some of them sound so plausible, Sandy. You there's just no way you would ever believe that they're criminals.
No.
You'd never
They do
believe
with the websites. I'm telling you, they have these legitimate websites that are carbon copies of the real thing, like IRS sites or PayPal sites or other things like this. You would never know that they're bogus sites.
That is pretty amazing and pretty scary. So until proven otherwise, they're trying to scam you. You need to be aware of that. Sandy, your website, and where do we get your books?
Okay, Lower Your Taxes Big Time and Achieve Financial Freedom Big Time can be gotten by going to books.sandybotkin, Botkin, books.sandybotkin.com. That will get you right into Amazon and Barnes & Noble and that whole group, books.sandybotkin.com. In addition to that, I have an expense tracking site called TaxBot, TaxBot, which is rated one of the top expense trackers in the country for mileage tracking, as well as a receipt expense. It will store your receipts, integrated camera. It's called TaxBot, TaxBot.com. That's TaxBot.com.
All right. And as always, you will find a link to Sandy's site on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Take a look at it. The news is breaking so quickly now. Impossible to keep up with all of the stories. I can't do it. You probably can't do it either. Sandy, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.